Eighth grade, I just wanted to do a quick review of all of the different types of angles so far that we've covered. Excuse me. Um, so that you have kind of everything in one space. There was no page for this in your notebook, but if you want to write it down somewhere, it might be helpful. We do have an upcoming quiz on Friday. So I just want to make sure that you feel confident about this material, as I know it's been delivered slightly differently than in the past. So we have learned about a variety of different angles. We have learned about complementary angles. And remember, those are angles that add up to 90 degrees. Okay, and those look something like this. And I might call this angle ABC, and I might tell you that this is 64 degrees. And then I might say that this is angle CBD. Notice how we name angles using 3. And the question that's asked might be, what is angle CBD? Okay, so your job is to figure out the measurement. So we would go ahead and we would do 90, take away 64. We're going to borrow. And so we get that angle CBD is 26 degrees. All right, so complementary always add up to 90 degrees. Now, we also did this using algebra, right? So we may have also had something that looked slightly like this. Whoops. And we had angle A, B, M. And we had that this was 2x. And then maybe we had angle MBP. And we said that this was x, and you were asked to find what x equals. Okay, so we would do so by saying 2x plus x is equal to 90 degrees. So 3x equals 90, x equals 30, okay, degrees. Then we would be able to say that angle ABM is equal to 60 degrees, and angle MBP is equal to 30 degrees. All right, so that was complementary angles. We learned those before we left, so hopefully that makes a lot of sense. From that, we went ahead and we learned about supplementary angles. And we said that supplementary angles, they add up to 180 degrees. Okay, these are often found on a straight line, and they might look something like this. Okay, and we might be given, for example, P, B, L, and we would be told that this maybe is 120 degrees, and we would be asked to find angle L, B, M. Okay, so in order to find angle LBM, we would do 180 minus 120, and we would get 60 degrees. All right, so once again, those are two things that we learned before we went on this lovely new e-learning path, okay? The last thing that we learned about that last day that we were in school were vertical angles, okay? And we learned that if we had a set of angles that looked something like this, okay, and I could call this P, Q, R, and then RQT, and then TQM, and then MQP, okay? And they might tell me that angle PQR is equal to 130 degrees and ask me to find the rest of the angles. Okay, so then I have angle RQT, angle TQM, and angle MQP. Okay, so if I know that this is 130 degrees, I know from vertical angles that the one straight across from it, which is its vertical angle, is congruent. So therefore, this angle over here is 130 degrees. Well, this is angle TQM. Okay. Then I know that to find these angles, these are on a straight line. So just like supplementary up above, these equal 180. So to find RQT, I would do 180 minus 130, and I would get 50 degrees. So RQT is equal to 50 degrees. If this is 50 degrees, well then I know the one across from it is again 50 degrees. All right, then you learned about parallel lines cut by a transversal. Okay, so we had parallel lines cut by a transversal. And it looked like overall, a lot of you did really well with this. So a couple things I just want to quick go over. Here are my parallel lines. All right, and they are cut by a transversal. All right. And what we know about these is that we know that there's a lot of angles that have relationships and have things in common. Okay, so sometimes they'll give you just one angle and they'll ask you to find all the rest. Okay, so for example, they might name this angle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, and they might tell you over here that angle 1 is equal to 110 degrees and ask you to find angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, angle 5, angle 6, angle 7, and angle 8. Okay, we know that angle 1 and angle 2 are on the same line. So we're going to do 180 minus 110, and that's going to give us 70 degrees. Okay, then we look at it and we say, okay, well, angle 2 and angle 3, those are vertical, those are across from each other, so they must be the same, 70 degrees. And angle 1 and angle 4 are across each other, and so they must be the same, 110 degrees. Now, we also know that corresponding angles are congruent. So angle 1 and angle 5 are the same. Okay, so angle 1 and angle 5, so we know that this is 110 degrees. Angle 2 and angle 6, because they're on the same spot, they're called corresponding angles, so they're the same. So angle 6 is 70. Angle 3 and angle 7 are in the same spot, so once again, that is 70. And angle 4 and angle 8 are in the same spot, so that's 110. Hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. Of course, as always, email me or ask me if you have any questions. Okay, last but certainly not least, we learned about two other things, and those were interior and exterior angles of a triangle. Okay, so we know that a triangle, the sum of the angles is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so if I told you that this angle is 52 degrees and this angle was 41 degrees and I asked you to find x, we would set up an equation and we would say 41 plus 52 plus x is equal to 180. Okay, so 41 plus 52 is going to give me 93 plus x is equal to 180. Okay, then I subtract 93 from both sides. And I'm left with the fact that x is equal to 87 degrees. Obviously, my picture is not drawn to scale. Okay, all of these you might be doing with algebra as well, but remember the same things apply. Okay, so I'm just using what I know and I'm just plugging things in. Okay, now last but not least, we learned about exterior angles of a triangle. So if we have a triangle like this, okay, and we're asked to find this outside angle right here, and they might tell us that this angle here is 53 and this angle here is 64. Okay, and they're telling us to find x. So the first thing that we would need to find actually is this angle right here. So we're going to call this angle y. Okay, so we would do 64 plus 53 plus y is equal to 180 because we know that's what the inside of the triangle is equal to. Okay, then we add these together. So we get 117 plus y is equal to 180. Now we're going to subtract 117 from both sides. And so we get y is equal to 63. Okay, now if I know that this is 63 right here, to find x right here, I'm going to do 180 is equal to 63 plus x. Okay, and then I subtract 63, and I'm left with the fact that x is equal to 117 degrees. So this is 117 degrees. All right, I hope that helps. I hope that just gives you an idea of kind of where we are at. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to email me, G-chat me. I am here. Have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.